Have you ever felt like your color gets muddy or you have trouble with matching colors? Well, this is going to be a brief survey of color theory and gradation. And I'll take you step by step through this image I made right here, and we'll get on with it here. Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to take a look at color gradation along with a little bit of color theory. I've had some viewers ask about this, and I thought I'd go over that in a quick tutorial today. So I'm going to show you a small piece I started this week, and I'm going to recreate it using these methods and talking more about color theory. Here's a sampling of just some small images I make. I do these very quickly, and a lot of times these will turn into larger paintings, or they may not. They may just stay as a sketch, but it's nice to experiment. This is one that I just freshly did with the sky and ground. We'll go on over here to the color wheel. It's kind of a made-up one that I did very quickly. Red to green, yellow to purple, blue to orange. And those are the complements. You don't have to stick strictly with those colors. You can have, like, for example, a yellowish green with a reddish brown. That works also. In fact, it works better. But, you know, tones of each of these will make your paintings more harmonious, and it will take you to places that you want to go. Of course, this is kind of a very simple approach here today in this 10-minute clip of color theory. There's so much more to talk about, and maybe I'll get more into that with later videos. But today I'm just going to bring down some quick color. This is an acrylic ink I'm going to work with. This is going to be a mixed media acrylic ink along with gouache. So I put down the blue. Now I'm going to bring in just a little bit of a pinkish purple acrylic ink. And I'm just going to let that kind of mix. I'm going to let it layer and sit. A lot of times paintings turn to mud because people just do too much. And a lot of times you can overwork the piece, and that's what happens. You are not satisfied. So I'm just kind of letting this kind of bleed into each other, barely touching parts. I'm going to put a little bit of blue back into this and just kind of let it soak in. I've made other videos about layering, and it really does help in the color process. They say that younger artists don't go far enough when they first start, and older ones go too far, which I found to be the case, with working with students anyway. But, you know, now I'm going to go on to the ground, and I'm going to start layering this as well with a variety of greens, along with some oranges and browns and blues that goes into this mix. So once again, I'm going to layer it. I'm not going to work it too much. I'm just going to bring layers in, let it bleed naturally. If you're working in water media, that's bleeding is the way to go. I'm going to work quickly here just to get the entire image with color. So mainly sticking with cool colors on this to begin with. A little bit of warmth going towards the sky and the horizon line, but overall fairly cool. If you're new to watercolor or any kind of water media ink, it really does help to watch someone work. And here we jump over here to the little sketch I made. And like I said, I'm trying to recreate this. It's not going to look exactly like the one on the left, but I've got the same kind of feeling that I'm going to work with. This is some of the scenery around where I live in the Midwest. You often see flatlands along with different parts of old buildings like this or for farming. I'm still trying to attack the gradation going from dark to top. As you go towards the bottom of the page, it's going to get darker. As you go towards the horizon line, it's going to get lighter as things fade away. And that's just a general rule that you really should learn as you start if you're doing some kind of landscape or you're interested in doing gradation. At the sky, I'm going to eventually get up there where it will get darker at the top and fade down. Already you can see a gradation of the blues and purples going towards a very light white color at the horizon line. So now I'm going to go ahead and block in this this building over here. I think it's a corn crib. as they call it here. Anyway, I'm going to bring in the warm colors now, kind of a warm brown. It's a contrasting colors against the cool colors, the blues. As I tell my students, the color theory, simple color theory, like I've just talked about, it really applies to a lot of things: fashion, uh, design, interior design. It overlaps in a lot of different ways. And once you learn how to work with some of the subtleties of the complementary colors, you can make yourself a pretty good colorist pretty quickly. In a lot of my videos, I do work from sketchbooks. I love doing abstraction, mixed media abstraction, but for me, it's always started with drawing from life. That's how I learned when I was younger. But today, I definitely like to bring some of the intuitive along with working with the realistic images I sometimes employ. Now I'm going back to the top. I'm trying to force that gradation. So I brought in some blues and browns at the top, and I'm going to fade that down over top of the other blue to give that kind of graded look. The little sketch on the left, this is something I like to do if I am busy or things are kind of hectic. A lot of times I'll do like a little picture just to get my hands in the paint for just a brief amount of time. The picture on the left I probably did in maybe 30 to 40 minutes, maybe less. But little sketches like that can really give you a boost of energy. At least it does for me, because I know at some point I will use it later, or I will add to the collection of the many small drawings I have that I keep in my sketchbooks. And here I am trying to force the gradation from the bottom up. Everything's getting lighter as you go towards the middle. Two things I try to stay away from are using white and black in any painting. You can use those in certain instances if you really want to use them. I kind of learned not to, just because a lot of times if black interferes with the color, it will really kind of kill it, along with a white. A white will also do things. I'd rather have a light color from lightly painted media than to do otherwise. Many of my students get instantly unhappy when they try to create a shadow with black. I always encourage them to use as darker colors as you can, perhaps browns with blues with purples, and they're going to have a much better result. Same with white. If they want to lighten something, they'll put white on top of it, and it's better just to water down the paint and get that light effect. It's going to be much better for you. Of course, all rules are to be broken. Sometimes you might find yourself wanting to use white and black, and that's perfectly fine as well. The best thing you can do is continue experimenting with color. It can be very frustrating if you're a beginning artist because things can turn to mud. But make a lot of paintings to turn to mud. That's the best way to learn. That's how I learned. You can have teachers or professors talk to you, but really, it's on you to experiment with it, and you are going to have your own distinct mark. Even when I look at my students now, when I look at their works, I know who did it just by the way they painted it. I get used to seeing you develop some sort of style. It may not be permanent, but you will start to pick up on something like that. And here I am just adding some little details here as we start to finish this off. So I hope you've been able to follow along today. I hope showing both of these images at the same time can show you how I work and how you can take a preliminary sketch and redo it. You may like the new one, or you may still like the original one. I've gone back and forth on that over the years. Hope I've answered some questions about color theory and gradation. Hope you've liked the video today. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done already. Leave some comments. And here's the overall view after having done all that. So you can see that as I get closer, the little details and the bleeding in each of the images. Anyway, I hope everyone has a great week, and I will see you again next time. Thanks for watching today, everyone.